Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I review the latest movies and documentaries. Today, I'm going to talk about The Ghost Without Chains. If you're interested in this topic, make sure to watch this video until the end, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. The story begins with a detective named Clinton about to retire from her job. The detective had solved many cases throughout his life, except his first case, in which he could not connect the murderer behind the murder of an entire family. This work was his passion, and the decision to leave it was not easy for him. He was still checking the file of his old solved cases, where he found a case from a mental hospital. He did not have to work because he was retired, but I don't know why his interest in this case was increasing. It was already late at night. He was awake when his wife came to him. She asks the reason for his being disturbed. The detective picks up his son's photograph and asks him, what could be the reason? That's my past, my guilt. It has come to know that due to a small mistake of the detective, his family had a very bad accident nearby, in which their son had died and their daughter had become paralyzed, and due to this guilt, they had to live their lives. Couldn't extricate myself. Today was also the birthday of the detective's daughter. In the morning, he places the birthday card on his daughter's bike and leaves for the hospital from where a doctor was repeatedly calling him by writing letters. On entering the hospital, the first thing he had to do was take his gun at the reception, because it was a mental hospital, and it was forbidden to carry any type of weapon here. When the detectives come to the doctor's room, the doctor welcomes them as if he had been waiting for them. When the detectives ask the doctor the reason for calling them here, the doctor tells them about a patient who was very strange. He was not mad. He called himself a soldier of the Civil War. The Civil War took place about 100 years ago. According to records, the man had been killed in this civil war. But the strange thing is that the man was found alive 20 years ago. Such a thing was not possible. The people of that time were still alive. The words of the detective court doctor seem childish. He asks the doctor, why did you call me here? The doctor tells and to meet me, he has been with me for the last many years and takes your name. Accordingly he will tell you his story. In reply the detective says, look doctor, I have taken retirement from this work. I don't have time to solve such cases and can't even join you today because it's my daughter's wedding day. If you say, I will send a policeman. Hearing this from the detective, the doctor shows him a page to record his statement. The man had repeatedly written Detective Clayton's name on it, and this forces the doctor to meet the patient. Going to that man, the doctor tells the detective he has treated many people before, but this man is a little different. As if some power had processed it. In the eyes of people, he is mentally ill, but I don't think his mental condition is bad at all, and perhaps that is why the old staff of the hospital were not ready to work with Daniel nor me. Daniel was also kept isolated from all other patients, with Sister Rose at his side at the time, who had no knowledge of Daniel's condition. When the detectives look at Daniel, they find him to be a corpse. He says to the doctor, it's a good joke, I have seen such a studied corpse for the first time in my life. The detectives were saying this because Daniel's face was also very bad. Like a dead person. Besides, the smell of rot was also coming from his body. The doctor says, detective, believe me that he is alive, but the detective believed the doctor's words only when Daniel actually opened his eyes in front of him. The first question asked by deductible Daniel is, where did you hear my name? When Daddy L replies that in the newspaper, the detective now turns to the doctor and says, see, I told you that it is just a drama. The detective was not paying attention to anything Daniel said, and was about to leave from here when Daniel wrote his daughter's name on a bird, saying that today she is from Mumbai. The detective gets very angry after hearing this. He does not stop, and Daniel's throat begins to choke. The doctor handles him and takes him out. While Daniel kept laughing at someone like a devil or the brother detective was going crazy, those doctors say that Daniel is not really crazy. He is playing some game. Before that he got information about me, and now he is threatening me. I want the information of every person who came in contact with him in this period of 20 years, in response to which the doctor says that believe me, in all these years, no one has come across him except some nurses who used to give medicine to him, or I don't know much about it. And if you want answers to your questions, then you go and talk to Daniel yourself. And we get to see him in Daniel's room. Despite being in such a bad condition, Daniel suddenly gets up and sits straight. Sister Rose is also not feeling good here with her, and when the detective and the doctor come to this room, they find Sister Rose unconscious. When she came to wash, the sister herself did not remember how she became unconscious. His anger was making his blood boil, and this had never happened to him before today. Coming near Denham, the doctor starts reading Daniel's story, which was of a national type. Daniel was fighting only for the power of power. During Chang, they get attacked by enemies. In all this, Daniel also got shot, but he did not die due to the impact of the bullet. When he regained consciousness, he realized that he was badly injured, but thankfully his life was saved. He couldn't even walk away. He kept crawling and reached the populated area. His condition had worsened due to excessive bleeding. He now becomes unconscious at a place, and it is shown that someone has dragged Daniel to his house. When Daniel regained consciousness at this time, he was lying on the bed. His wounds were giving him great fear. As soon as he tries to pass, a relative comes here and says, "No, our bleeding has been stopped with great difficulty." At this time, this woman's husband also comes here, to whom Daniel says, "Please take me to a hospital. I need urgent treatment," but this guy answers and says, "Sorry, I can't take you to the hospital because there is no hospital nearby." After saying this, he became unconscious again as his condition worsened. When he regained consciousness after 2 days, the couple was sitting in front of him. The man now says to Daniel, "Look, we are helping you, keeping you here, so you will have to follow some of our principles. The first is that you will not talk about religion or God here, and the second is that neither we want to know your name, nor you will know our name, we will not even call each other by names." Here Daniel requests them to please convey the news of my survival to my colleagues. He himself will come to help me, but the man does not answer. "We cannot do this because we are neither a part of this place nor want to be." At night someone makes a loud noise of Daniel sitting. He sees that there was no one in his room at this time. That little dash comes. Now blood had started appearing in his urine too, and seeing this it was clear that he would not be able to survive much longer. Now the seniors gather and shift to the present day, where the doctor is narrating the story of Daniel to the detective, who used to solve his cases by finding logic in everything. He tells the doctor here, "I don't believe this story. There is no logic in this. Tell me. How did man remain alive for so many years, and that too at a time when he was martyred, injured and martyred? Do you think this is a miracle stalking?" While talking to Sister Rose he says, "Tell me, what do you think?" Sister Rose, who was already scared. She tells the detective that, "I don't know, only one person will be able to tell whether this is like death or some overpower." "Before this, doctor, did you start listening to this story again?" Sister Rose excuses herself from him and goes to the washroom, where she is frightened by some strange force. Here the detective asks the doctor how did he type this story of Daniel. The doctor tells that a nurse had typed it, but she died while typing it. He is suffering from a dangerous type of cancer. During these talks, Sister Rose comes to Queen and asks her to please stop all this happening. "I think there are no Danians in that room. There is no capable power in that room." Sister Rose didn't want to hear this story anymore. She asks them to call a priest here, but the detective, who has no knowledge of ghosts, was not there. He says no. "We will complete this story today itself and end this story today itself." The doctor starts narrating the story and the scene in the past starts from there. The condition of 4 Daniels is very bad. Daniel is currently at his couple's house, and he doesn't feel any good vibes in this house. He felt that this family was doing some devilish work. Every night, some strange force haunted Daniel, and one night there was a strange, horrifying-looking evil horror. The evil force that has come into the same room turns his seat from one place to another. This is what is seen a lot. He wanted to run away from here, but due to being injured, he was not able to walk even a single step. In the morning, when Daniel asks the owner of this house about the history, the woman tells that this house belonged to her parents. They have been living here for many years, but in the last 11 years, some amazing things have happened to them. For example, one day when his mother went to the forest, when she returned, her condition was very strange. Her face had become as if she had died. There was a stench of climbing from time to time. She couldn't even walk. Then my daughter also got this strange disease. When I had a daughter, my mother would fall ill. And perhaps when my mother was well, my daughter would fall ill. We got treatment from many doctors, but when that doctor died, it was heard that he was a major. That is my daughter's. If you get disturbed by those sounds, I will close all the insects in your room. Daniel says that some big woman also comes here to scare me. This woman felt that Daniel was talking about her mother who could not even walk for many years, and seeing him making fun of her mother, she scolded this man, and said that you are blowing up Nasdaq, not ours. No, I'm not kidding. Something old and scary really scares me, It could be some other power too, to which this woman goes out of here without giving any answer, and the scene gets cut and shifts to the present again. Because just now Daniel had used the name of some evil power in his story, and Sister Rose also felt that this matter was related to some evil power, and not some evil power. So now Sister Rose starts believing what he says, but the detectives were not going to believe him. They ask, "Tell me who you are. But why are you staying home this whole story?" Before anyone could answer, the detective remembers that today is his daughter's birthday. He has to go back home. He leaves from here, and when he goes out, he comes to know that it is snowing heavily. He won't even be able to go to his home, neither will he. He has to come back inside the hospital. He definitely had the entire typed story in his hand, where he noticed that there were a lot of capital letters in his story. Some words were being formed by mixing the heads. Now, since they could not go out of here, the only secret they have is that they should research this story only, and the doctor also suspects that he might be hiding something from her. So they secretly go to the doctor's room and start searching there. She sees another room behind the doctor's room where Daniel's case files were kept. In this file there are old photos of Daniel. Daniel had written the name of Detective Clayton on his body in many ways. Now he goes to the doctor and demands to see Daniel's old room. Coming here, the detective says to the doctor, "If you know anything else about this case, then tell me clearly." In response to which the doctor says, "As much as I told you, this is all I knew, and one strange thing was that before this Daniel was in Zeiss hospital. The people of that hospital threw Daniel out of there because they believed that those who came to Daniel would get sick and die, and after biting them, Sister Rose tells them that I know what is the matter with Daniel. There's a devil butcher on top of that. That's what doctors call it. We should call someone immediately. All this is not within our control." Then Detective Sister Rose calls Rose Axe, saying that I think Jess' nurse had typed all this story. Perhaps his brain condition was not good. He has added something to him in this story as well as he has also written information about me. Right now those people were talking that suddenly they are heard from the basement of Daniel from the basement. These people who come in the basement, Daniel lying on their bags in the same way. Detective now his story was picked up again. Sister plays from the door to win it is also capital alphabets, write them from the line. Sister daily starts connecting the capital alphabets of the story from the beginning, while the last account of the detective's story starts reading, and the scenes are shifted to the past once again. Whether it is shown that the old ladies who were in bed for 13 years, that is, they could not walk, they got up. Daniel comes to her room to intimidate. Fear from Tonino falls under the bed. Windows by is seen that the daughter of that couple had also happened. Both of them were crying, after which they are happening after some time. She left Daniel's room. Now such an owner came into Daniel's room and picked up Daniel and laid it on the back. He now asked Daniel's name from the first mark with Daniel. On mentioning Daniel's name, he remembers that this is the same name that his daughter has been calling for a long time. Tells Daniel that even if you do not agree, you are a person who can help us. He tells Daniel that he has a processor by a devil. This devil takes advantage of the parents' weaknesses and processors them. We will not be able to get rid of it even when someone gives us. After which the devil will dominate the person who kills us. Because you are not children, you will not be able to be a processor with this devil. You help us, free us from life on this state, and after that you will also be able. The man goes away from here by saying this. Daniel was very afraid of all these things. He now wanted to run away from here in any way. At night, when he stands up to run away, suddenly the sudden person lifts him in the air. He screams loudly, so the people of this house are kept here while listening. The man draws Daniel from the legs downwards. As soon as he came back, the tenor was very scared of all these things, and due to Danny, he now kills the man who had just brought him down from the air, saying something was used without thinking anything. After this, he also did together. The wife, her daughter and her mother kill everyone. When Daniel killed that old woman and child, both of them were both. Daniel was not difficult to do that old lady, and when she had to kill the child, she was kept in peace. The girl was encouraging her to kill her. After killing Jesco, he had gone from here. We were seeing how much injured Daniel S.A. was going on as if nothing had happened to him, which clearly meant that Satan has now processed him. It is known that this is the murder of this face. That was the case which was not solved till date. It is shown that till now Sister Rose had also made a sentence while writing it, where I am written, I am inside Daniel Jamin Daniel, and it was Hindi. Both faint. To get rid of this man, detective go to take their guns. As soon as he returned with the gun, now Daniel was staring at him. Satan was actually speaking inside Daniel to kill himself. After Daniel's death, he would now leave Daniel's body and process Detective's body, because as we know that these devils call the parents' weaknesses a target, then Detective in this matter was already weak in this matter. He was always in this gift. Why his son died, and because of him, Daniel tries to convince the time that he does not kill Daniel or else Satan will process him. But the devil inside Daniel's body was repeatedly inciting the detective to kill Daniel, because he lives in Daniel's body, was fed up. After that, the molded detective shoots Daniel and says so. This devil left Daniel's body and captured the detective's body. His face changes completely due to pressuring him. Smell starts coming from inside it, and its movement also changes. He goes directly to his house, to his daughter's room, where Satan was now asking him to kill his daughter, but a detective was a mentally strong person. He does not get into Satan's words so soon. He ends himself here to save his daughter and his face. Now, because no one else had killed the detective, Satan could not be transferred to anyone else's body. Satan has to leave his body and go from here. For Detective's daughter, her father's death in front of her eyes was one of the most painful moments. She was crying with her mom. Well, on the other hand, we were being shown Daniel in the hospital. What is still alive? How much is now? No one, as if the story ends with Sister Rose and the doctor alive. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this movie and what other movies or documentaries you want me to review next. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching and see you next time.